Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back. And today we've got a little video on the Zealots. Obviously just got this unit, been playing around with it a little bit and actually really enjoying it. Seems like there's multiple different ways to play it, but yeah, it's not quite as tanky as I thought it was going to be. That's probably a good thing. It seems to be slotting in quite nicely. But yeah, I thought we'd do a little video and take a look. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at my Zealots. So here we have my Zealots, obviously dressed up so they don't look like how they're meant to look. But, you know, we're not going to go into too much in that. They're my Zealots. And let's start off with having a little look at their Doctrines. Now, I think this is the only unit in the game that can use basically all the, what I would call the special Doctrines straight out the gates. You know, like combat, devastation, noble blood, and that's what we've got on here. We've got noble blood. Obviously, they take a bit of damage. They gets reverted into bleed, and they gain damage dealt increased by 15% and movement by 15%. So all around great. Devastation, very very strong. Mace boys, more damage, more hits, more knockdowns. Yeah. Can't complain with that. Combat, obviously, first 3 attacks they get extra damage, then they get every 6 attacks they get 15% of their maximum health back. That's huge. And then every 9 attacks they get 2.5 seconds of crowd control immunity, essentially. They're immune to stuns. And then we've got a leadership just to bunch that off, just to make them a bit cheaper. Defense Doctrine 4. A little 4% damage reduction and some extra stats to their defense. That's nice. So yeah, top tier Doctrines that you would kind of expect that would make these guys absolute monsters, but they seem to slip into the current meta pretty well. They're like, obviously there's a lot of shields, and if you think you're gonna get these guys and go run and gun, you can do, but it is actually, they're a bit more squishy than you would imagine for a new unit. You know, we've been very used to units coming out and being ridiculous. These guys, yeah, they're very good. They're very very good, but they you've got to be a bit wary because they can suddenly be killed. So yeah, they're my Doctrines. Moving on to Vetline. Vetline, I've gone top. I am curious about bottom. I haven't actually been bottom Vetline yet. I like the idea of increased damage to infantry by 15%. I think that's really, really nice. Bit of extra damage. A lot of them, they have the same up and down. So wherever you go, you're going to get the same. But obviously 15% extra damage or reduces damage taken from range. That I'd much prefer to have the 15% damage. So maybe at some point we will experiment with the bottom line. But like a lot of them are the same. I mean, it seems like personal preference. The only reason I went for this is when hit and suffer a bleed for 8 seconds while it lasts. A successful block restores 12% health over time. That I think is quite strong. It's quite strong. It keeps them alive. Where I don't know, like yeah, this extra burn. I think it could be good, but that feels very strong compared to that, so it's kind of the reason why I've gone top. Could be wrong. I would love to be corrected. And then the idea of doing a split line maybe would work. You know, you get extra reduced cooldowns on stuff. It's only going to be 2 seconds though. Extra defenses. I'm not sure how far you could go with it, but I'm not sure it'd be worth it. I mean, you'd only be ever looking to get this and that. You want immunity, so yeah, there might be a way of like maybe missing out that and getting another bit of health, but it's probably not worth it. Top line to me at the moment seems like the way to go with getting 12% maximum health back over time, and that combined with the combat doctrine when you get 15% of your health back seems that's the way to keep them alive for a bit. But that's just the way I go. If you've gone bottom line, I'd like to hear how that's working for you. But yeah, that's where we've gone with those. Stat-wise, we are looking at some sort of 1400 blunt penetration, 1400 blunt damage, so pretty high. Defense around the 700s, 6 to 700s. So again, okay, block is pretty good, 1,000, and there'll be, when Doctrine Dash comes out and we get their Doctrine that I'll probably replace either this or this with, they gain another 300 block, I believe it is. So they'll have pretty high block. But let's get into a few little games and see how we get on. I'll talk through my feelings with them. I'm sure over time, using them more, I will get to the stage where I figure them out more. But yeah, let's get into a few games and talk about it. So here we go. We've got our Zealots currently in the first formation, and there's a bit of mooshes up here. We're just going to charge them in. I really like this first formation because the two abilities, like the charge and then the second ability, that is very similar to the Inquisitor mode, the second mode of these guys' two ability. It just doesn't have the fire effects. But yeah, I like the first mode more than I like the second mode. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of a comparison. The last clip will be me just sticking in first mode and seeing how we get on. But yeah, currently in first mode, we've got some Spear Sergeants here. We get knocked over, that was good from that guy, but now obviously when we do the second ability, they get sort of CC immunity, so they get in there quite heavily, but I sort of run out of hits and they stop hitting, so I was like, change them to Inquisitor mode. I knew they wouldn't die too much by doing that. With these guys, they're not going to do a huge amount of damage, so I've still got a full stack, but we are now in mode 2. So we're now stuck here. There's no changing back to mode 1, and we've got a nice little group here. I just don't want to go on my own because these guys can be very squishy. Not very squishy, but if you go on your own, you can get overwhelmed. They get knocked around a bit and they don't get many hits off. Yeah, we shove them in. We go for the one ability that kind of sucks everyone in, and then they do an uppercut, chuck in a little Thunderbolt grenade. And yeah, they're hitting. They're doing the second ability now. That means they're doing like a big swing, and they get a CC immunity. But I thought, you know what, time to move them out. Otherwise, you know, would lose a few. So we've lost a few there, but we're going to go heal those up and then get into the next bit of combat. But I think we've still got about 20 left out of 25, so not doing too badly. Moving on to the next bit, we are going to head up here, have a little look at what's going on. It looks like they're going to come out there with Spear Sergeants. That is always sort of your best scenario with these guys is Spear Sergeants. As we will see in a clip coming up, Stalwarts can be a bit of an issue. But we get them in there, we do one ability, suck them in, bit of an up strike, get in a Thunderbolt as well for that extra 20% damage, and just completely wreck those. Obviously, we had a lot of help there. We had Halberdiers and something else. We're just going to nip this guy, take this guy away. Try to pull the guys over, but I probably don't need them. Just going to kill the horse, and there we go. He is dead. Fall off the edge there, and we'll move on to the next clip. So we're pushing in. I'm just taking a little look around. Just didn't want to put them too far in so they can get shot. Pull them in now. Having a look there. See, kind of our team has that. And over there, I see some Stalwarts. I'm like, okay, I can probably take these. I have 20 of them left. That's full health, ready to go. And I can just go in the side. This guy's on a War Rockets. We go in. We go for the upper strike. And they turn the Stalwarts that didn't end up going well for my Zealots here, unfortunately. They're getting a lot of damage in, but a lot of those numbers are burn numbers, and they're kind of low. It makes them look like they're doing a lot, but it's, yeah, that spells the end for them in that clip. Moving on to this one, I see the towers going up, and I see the guy has Stalwarts out here, but he moves them away, pushing them. But then there's another guy with Demise Spears, I believe it is. And I'm like, okay, let's take those. So we're obviously in the first mode. And yeah, we're gonna hit these guys, get the second ability rolling, and they rack up the full kill. Obviously this is a green unit, so very easy. I could switch them to Inquisitor, but I wanted to wait a bit longer in first mode, just because I am a bit more, I prefer the first mode, as I said. But we will change them to Inquisitor right here. That obviously looks awesome when they change, but One thing I feel like these guys need is their cooldowns on their abilities are very, very long. That's fine. It just feels like they're missing one ability. It feels like they should have another ability that doesn't hit much, but does something on a lower cooldown. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't, it feels like there should be something else, but there isn't. There's a big stopgap. We chuck them in there, we're hitting the first ability, big up strike, get a kill in there. This is a perfect little flank. We got the second ability. Well, actually, we don't bother using the second ability. That was all first ability, just sweeping in there. And you know what? I try it again. We go around the back again, wait for them to push up. I'm taking a look. There's not much there at the moment, just having a little look, seeing what we can see. And I think, you know what? Let's go hide them up on the side there. And wait for a full stack to turn up. I see people turning up. I'm like, okay, let's get a bit closer. I probably should have waited there for the more to come up, but we hide here. That I think I get seen because it's it doesn't end that well for me. But yeah, I'm looking down there. I'm hiding my guy, even though they probably can see a big dual blades above my head. But yes, we're waiting. I'm going to wait for them to start attacking A, and then I'm going to try and come in round the back. Problem is, I waited too long, and if I'm judging myself a lot in this, I probably should have gone in with the 2 ability first, so I get immunity and just like swipe my way in. But I go in wrong, and I get seen by the pikes anyway. That basically insta wipes me. I get some off. I throw my grenade in, but yeah, there you go, half stack gone straight away. And yeah, it didn't work out well for me. We got a lot of damage out, but yeah, that spelled the end for those guys right there. Moving on to the next game. This one, still in first. Gonna try and get up behind these stalwarts. Stalwarts, I find, are the kind of the problem for these guys. Not a huge problem, but yeah, Stalwarts currently at the moment, in my opinion, are the best all-round unit. You can, you fight off range easily because you got shields. Well, you're not susceptible to range. You have a really long-range brace. It's so much longer than the spear that the guy's holding, the actual hit marker, and they're tanky. They can stop cav. They're all round, jack of all trades. So these guys can struggle with them a bit, and if you can get in behind them, that you can wipe them. But if you go in forward, then it can be a bit rough. Not saying they can't beat them. Here I see this kicking off at the front here, and I'm like, oh, let's go around the back, and I click the one ability too quickly. Kind of half my guys miss. I'm trying to move them into the back there, but their team's turning, and it's totally on my fault that these don't go well. Again, you can get very excited about seeing all the numbers pop up on the screen, but when you're in Inquisitor mode, that's just a little burn. Like, a lot of those numbers are like 80 to 70. It's not actually a huge amount. It just looks like a lot. And that's why I kind of just prefer the first mode. Everything feels much more direct. A lot of people think you need to be moving into Inquisitor. That I wouldn't argue that, but personally, I found I have much more success just keeping them in first mode. So this is the game now where I keep them in just first mode. I don't bother going in Inquisitor because I like having the charge. The charge also knocks things down that is really valuable. So they get knocked down there, we get in there, and we're doing the second ability that's swinging our maces around, and now they're just hitting away. And I just feel like it feels better. Also in first mode, they have more 400 more block than they do in the second mode. They lose 400 block by going, is it 400 or 300? One of the two, by going into the Inquisitor mode. That is obviously the fiery big boys. But I think these guys, it's kind of personal preference, I feel. I don't think there's a need to turn into the second mode unless you enjoy the second mode. I think it's just find either one that you enjoy more. I would just stick in it, and that's kind of what I've been doing now. I don't bother going Inquisitor. I just wanted to do it for this video. And I have much more fun with them like this. Cooldown's still very long, and I still feel like they're missing an ability. But yeah, they're fun to play. They're fun to play, and also with the doctrines they can have, like, yeah, they can be devastating. But I am also very pleased that they're not as strong. Like, we haven't gone into the season and they'd be absolutely ridiculous. You know, they're decently good. They work well in the current meta, and I think they fit in well. So it is nice not to have sort of either, you know, an Axe Raider or a Wu-Wei Pike situation where they're just unbelievable and you have to have them to win. So yeah, you can wipe these out easily with Stalwarts or other things, or just by controlling them a bit with your hero. Shoving them in there, pulling them out for cooldowns. You'll see me like do the abilities, wait a little bit, pull them out, wait for the cooldowns, come back in, and now we're going to go in with a charge that's going to knock everything over. And then we're going to go in with a 2 ability that's going to do some lovely swingy mace moves, and also gives them immunity in this form for 1.5 seconds, I believe it is, or yeah, 1.5 seconds of immunity. That's always nice. So push through there. See another few spear sergeants here that I'm going to just chuck them in and press V and mop up the last of those. And then that is that thing. We're going to get B, take B with the team here, and send those off for a little heal. Get those last few healed back up, and then we'll move into the pushing base that is happening now. So we're going to push up the stairs. Got a few bit of cav coming in that I was a bit annoyed about. I'd just been to heal these guys up, and one cav just went and basically took one of my guys down to no health. That was kind of irritating, but, you know, cav roaming around. And here we got some scout cav as well that does exactly the same as the last one, just nibbles at my unit, and I come over here to kill something, kills those men-at-arms, and they're already dead by the time I get here. So that was slightly irritating, but we have some more enemies over here, and I'm gearing up for a big hit here, straight into a charge, get a grenade off, more 30% damage to everything, going with my second ability, lots of damage coming up, and some idiot decides that's a good idea. That ruins my sort of kind of continuous momentum there, and I decide, you know, I'll get down here. Got everything's on about half health. I was like, oh, I don't know if we're going to take the point here, and I was like, I could push forward with the guys there, but there's some Imperial jabs, and I was like, okay, let's go around the back and go in from behind. We have our abilities off cooldown. There's a few archers here. There's some spear sergeants coming around. I'm like, this is perfect, and unfortunately, the game ends. They don't jump the point. That is annoying, but that's the way it goes. And by sticking on the one form in this game, we get about 70 kills with them. Okay, troop kill score, 1 hero. So, yeah, not bad. I think it's personal preference, but yeah, up to you guys. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Zealots are great, not too overpowered, I don't think, and unless someone figures out something ridiculous with them. Lots of fun, been enjoying them, and I think, dare I say it, this season so far feels pretty balanced. That's great. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.